Have you ever had the feeling someone was lying, even without any concrete proof? Or heard a "I'm fine" that sounded like anything but fine? The truth is, our bodies often give away what our words try to hide. We're constantly picking up signals from others, but most of the time, we do it unconsciously. And when we don't know how to interpret those signals, it leads to miscommunication, misunderstandings, and frustration. If you've ever felt lost trying to understand someone's intentions, you're not alone. That's because most of us were never taught to listen with our eyes. And that's where reading microexpressions, body language, and emotional inference comes in, powerful yet often overlooked skills that reveal what lies beneath the words. In this video, you'll learn how to identify subtle cues, recognize hidden emotions, and understand what's really going on inside someone, even when they try to hide it. And the best part? You can apply all of this practically, in conversations, meetings, negotiations, or even in intimate day-to-day moments. Nonverbal communication is what truly drives our relationships, and now you'll understand why. Studies in social psychology show that over 90% of our communication happens without words. This includes facial expressions, gestures, posture, tone of voice, and even silence. And here's the most fascinating part: many of these signals are involuntary. In other words, they reveal feelings we don't always want, or manage, to hide. Imagine a recruiter evaluating two candidates who say similar things. One maintains steady eye contact, has open posture, and congruent expressions. The other, although saying all the right words, slouches in the chair, avoids eye contact, and hesitates when answering. Who do you think will get the job? The way we communicate without words can be a game changer in any context. It's not an exaggeration to say that understanding nonverbal language is like having a superpower. It lets you anticipate reactions, spot lies, read intentions, and most importantly, build empathy. Because when you understand how someone feels, even when they don't say it, you create a real connection. This silent reading happens all the time. In a couple's argument, a job interview, a tense negotiation, or even in the elevator with a stranger. And believe it, those who master this skill not only understand others better, they also start communicating with more clarity and confidence. And it all starts with paying close attention to what lasts less than a second: microexpressions. These tiny muscle movements in the face reveal true emotions before someone can even control them. They appear spontaneously and last, on average, between 0.1 and 0.5 seconds. Because they're so fast, most people don't even notice them. But with training, you can spot them and access the emotional truth behind the words. Here's a practical example: someone receives a compliment, smiles, and says thank you. But for a split second, their lips twitch to one side, a quick sign of contempt. That expression wasn't planned, it just slipped out. It means that, even though the person responded positively, there's a hidden emotion, maybe distrust or sarcasm. Microexpressions are universal and linked to 7 basic emotions: happiness, sadness, anger, fear, surprise, disgust, and contempt. Even people from different cultures express them the same way. Paul Ekman, one of the leading researchers in the field, proved this through studies with isolated tribes, and the results were astonishing. Learning to spot microexpressions takes practice. But you can start today. A simple tip is to practice in front of a mirror, recall specific moments that triggered strong emotions and observe how your face reacts. Then, watch interviews or reality shows and try to spot contradictions between what's said and what's shown on the face. At first, you'll make mistakes. You'll think you saw something that maybe wasn't there. But over time, your brain will start to recognize patterns. And then, what was once invisible will become impossible to ignore. Now that you know how emotions show up on the face, let's go a bit further and look at what the body reveals in silence. Body language is the second major channel of nonverbal communication. And unlike microexpressions, which are quick and subtle, the body speaks constantly, through posture, gestures, eye direction, hand movements, and even foot placement. Imagine someone saying, "I'm relaxed," with crossed arms, tense shoulders, and their body slightly turned away from you. Does that make sense? The body is revealing the opposite of what's being said. And this happens all the time, in conversations, negotiations, presentations, or even casual encounters. Some classic signs of discomfort include scratching the nose or neck, hiding the hands, avoiding eye contact, fidgeting, or laughing without genuine emotion. On the other hand, signs of openness and trust include relaxed shoulders, visible palms, steady eye contact, and upright posture. But be careful, no single gesture should be taken as the absolute truth. Body language works like a puzzle. The best approach is to look for clusters of signals that repeat or reinforce each other. For example, if someone crosses their arms, looks down, and starts physically stepping back from the conversation, the combination points to real discomfort. Here's another great tip: watch the feet. They often point to where a person truly wants to go, often away from where they are. This detail is frequently overlooked, but it can say a lot about someone's interest, or lack of it, in the interaction. As you start noticing these patterns, you develop a new way of listening, a visual one. And that opens the door to something even more powerful: emotional inference, the bridge between what you see and what you feel. As you begin to notice these patterns, you develop a new kind of listening, visual listening. And this creates space for something even more powerful: emotional inference. This is where the pieces come together. It's not just about seeing an expression or a gesture, it's about interpreting what it means within the context. Emotional inference is the ability to combine what's observed with the situation it happens in, connecting visual cues, spoken words, and perceived emotions. Take this example: someone is talking about an achievement at work, but as they speak, their shoulders shrink and their smile looks forced. This might indicate insecurity or even imposter syndrome. The words and message are positive, but the body reveals an emotional weight that wasn't verbalized. Another key point is understanding the person's background and environment. Someone might seem anxious in a meeting, not because they're lying, but because they feel intimidated. Meanwhile, someone else may appear calm while lying, yet show a micro-gesture of tension, like touching their lips or holding their breath. Inferring emotions isn't about guessing thoughts. It's about noticing patterns and making sense of them through context, timing, and consistency between speech and behavior. When the signals align, the message is clear. When they contradict, there's something to investigate. This refined reading takes attention, active listening, and empathy. It's not about judging, it's about understanding. You start noticing what's behind the "I'm fine," the "of course I trust you," or the "it doesn't bother me." And once the skill is in motion, the impact is real. Let's take a look at how these silent cues transform everyday interactions. When this skill comes into play, the impact is real. Let's see how these silent readings can change day-to-day situations. Imagine a job interview: the candidate answers well, but microexpressions show tension every time the topic of teamwork comes up. A sharp recruiter picks up on this and changes the approach, diving deeper into the subject. The result? A more fair and informed decision. Or think of a couple going through a rough patch. One partner keeps saying, "Everything's fine." But their arms are crossed, their gaze drops, and their answers are short. Body language reveals discomfort that words are trying to hide. This creates space for a more honest conversation and prevents the issue from growing in silence. In the world of sales, this skill is even more valuable. A client may seem excited, but that could just be politeness. Yet when the price is presented, they slightly furrow their brow, lean back, and touch their face, signs of real hesitation. A trained salesperson picks up on this and adapts the pitch, building more trust and connection. These situations show it's not about manipulation, it's about understanding. When you sense what someone is feeling, even when they don't say it, you can adjust your approach, show empathy, and build more authentic relationships. And the more you practice, the stronger this skill becomes. It starts to feel natural, almost automatic. You begin to read the room like you're reading an open book, and that gives you an edge in any situation. Now, let's see how you can start applying this today, in simple and practical ways. The first step is to train your observation. Watch interviews, debates, or reality shows and focus on how people react. Pause the video during moments of tension or surprise and observe the face, posture, and gestures. Try to identify what was felt, and see if it matches what was said. Another powerful method is using a mirror. Recall moments when you felt strong emotions, joy, anger, embarrassment, and watch how your face naturally reacts. This will help you recognize those expressions in others too. During everyday conversations, start noticing cues without judging. See if the words match the body, if someone's eyes light up when talking about something important, or if there's hidden discomfort behind a forced smile. Take note of recurring patterns. With time, you'll notice that the world is always speaking to you, even in silence. And that gives you more clarity, more empathy, and much more confidence to communicate intelligently. Now it's time to wrap up this journey with sharp awareness and purposeful action. Now that you've learned how to notice what often goes unseen, the world around you will start to look different. Every expression, gesture, and glance holds information that few people catch, but now, you're one of those who sees beyond the words. Emotional reading isn't just a skill, it's a silent advantage that transforms relationships, decisions, and human connections. And the best part? The more you practice, the more natural it becomes. If this content resonated with you, drop a comment sharing a situation in your life you'd like to better understand using these techniques. And if you'd like a visual guide with key signs of microexpressions and body language, comment, "I want it," and I'll send it to you for free. Now go ahead, train your eye. Because sometimes, what changes a conversation is what no one ever said.